This video is going to be a film study slash commentary look at the decisions that Dan Campbell made in the second half of the Lions' 34-31 loss to the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Look, a brilliant game from Detroit for 30 minutes and beyond. In fact, there was a period of time in the third quarter where Detroit has the opportunity to go up 27-10, and that'll be the main decision that I talk about. But first, before we get there, have to give credit to Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, the players. They came in and so many things were working in the first half. Offensively, multiple concepts giving the 49ers difficulty. Jared Goff was sharp and just dealing all over the place to everyone. He played fantastic, if you ask me. Some throws he just stuck in there, and I think I'll show you one of them. I have no idea what the NFL has put out in terms of Lions content covering this game, but I'll try to get this one out today, Tuesday. I've been a little late and very under the weather the last week and a half. Look, what the Lions were doing on some level and how in control Goff was, how close they were to really putting the game away in the first half. The offense was executing so many things well. The run game with the pass. I know that impacted those decisions that Dan Campbell made in the second half because the offense is rolling. There's another way to look at it, and I'll lead up to that a little bit later. But what I want to do is look at some of the concepts that were working leading up to that situation. It'll be a pretty lengthy video, to be honest with you. Forgive me that it took me so long to get this one out. Like I said, I've been battling illness. So this is first down or second six, first possession, 15 yards up the middle for Montgomery. I don't know about you, but the ability to hit downhill on at least 3 or 4 different run concepts, it wasn't surprising from a Lions standpoint because that's what they do. They block things well. But it was somewhat surprising that guys on the 49er side weren't fitting things well. So gap-wise right now, Fred Warner has this gap, inside linebacker has a B gap, and then over here C gap is the Sam linebacker 57 Greenlaw. The split zone concept, I think it's Ferkser working across the field and Laporta trying to get away from Bosa and work up to the second level. 54 fits it away from his gap. 48 fits it to his gap. Huge lane up the middle for Montgomery to be 15 yards. Now, we don't know what the 49ers scheme or concept is for defending this. They may let the guys shift gaps because you have a strong safety coming down here and inserting into the box. And when the tight end pulls away, some people say when he goes away, your gap moves over one and your gap moves over one. So it's entirely possible that 48 is wrong and Fred Warner's correct. I don't really care who is incorrect. It depends on how the 49ers want to play it. Point is, it's a 15-yard gain, a physical run downhill on the first possession. The Lions set the tone. Beautiful play, if you ask me. The very next play concept. 12 personnel, Jill ISO with a wide delay to Laporta, 14 yards into the boundary. That's the main part that I really love about this. You got to play fake here. 2 tight ends to the top side. Laporta's going to step to the D end, and then you're going to get this Jill ISO with the other tight end. So he's going to work up potentially to block. He could also release in a route. Simultaneous to that, you get play action fake in the opposite direction to the running back on a counter step. And then Laporta has held long enough, I don't mean hold, he's engaged the block long enough to slip out here into the flats. And you can see 2 guys are occupied by this tight end working up the hash. Easy flip out into the left flats. After a 15-yard gain on the ground, coming back to a play action makes sense, right? Complementary football. And then the play of the game, at least early, that set the tone. This reverse to Jamison Williams, 42 yards. Brilliantly done by the offensive line, Decker and the center getting out there. And then Jamison Williams just breaking tackles, playing through contact, I should say, for 42 yards. Put the Lions up 7-0. Talking about a minute and a half into the football game. And you've already had a 15-yard run, a 14-yard pass into the boundary, and now a 42-yard reverse to your most explosive or fastest player in a straight line, if you will, Jamison Williams, who finished with 2 touchdowns on the day. 49ers missed a field goal. Lions offense went right back to work. Second possession, you can see the same dynamic here that I described on the second play. 12 personnel, 2 tight ends down into the boundary. I think that's Ertz, but I may have him and Ferkser confused. But in any case, you don't have a Jill ISO concept here. I thought Goff did a great job, by the way, of changing plays, checking protections. I think he is excellent at those things. Play action flood to the top side. Lets Montgomery get down the field such that he's outflanked the second-level defender. and is able to pick up another 14-yard gain. I know that you, as a Lions fan at this point, were just giddy with how well the offense was playing. It's going to outflank this linebacker 48, get between the bottom of the numbers and the sideline. And Goff, when I first saw this throw, I thought it was a little dangerous, but Goff put it in the right place, away from the defender. Montgomery, 14 yards, excuse me. 3 plays later, one of multiple third downs that the Lions converted. This one is a cool little screen to the trips downside. Goff was impeccable on these third downs, I thought. Yeah, you got the 2 failed fourth downs that people want to focus on, but as a Lions fan, you should be proud for not just how they came in there and attacked, but how Goff executed. I'll have more to say on Goff and, quote, whether or not they should bring him back. I feel like the answer is obvious at this point, but brilliant play call here. 3rd and 9. Second possession for the Lions. Converts, gets 13 yards. A couple of plays later, 2nd and 1. 2nd and goal from the 1. Montgomery up the middle. Powers in, touchdown, and all of a sudden the Lions are up 14-0. 12 and a half minutes into the game. Now look, McCaffrey was able to score, get the 49ers win 14-7. Lions offense eventually had to punt here, but I still want to point out this possession because you got a couple of dynamics that are still carrying over. Number one, 12 personnel here, different formations, still have the 2 tight ends to one side, but the wide receiver, in this case St. Brown, has motioned over to create a tray or 3-by-1 formation. Outside zone concept, Montgomery hits downhill 14 yards after a spin move. They are rocking and rolling up front with the offensive line against a really talented, fast, physical, well-coached, and strong 49ers defense. Detroit put them on their heels and rocked them. To be honest with you, this game was very close to being almost over. Of course, San Francisco finishes with 34 points, so I'm sure there'll be people who discount what I just said there. 3rd and 10, Goff brings Montgomery back in, tells him to blitz check Warner, and hits St. Brown, who makes Warner miss, and then surges past the line to gain. That's a 3rd and 10, by the way. The dynamic of Goff being sharp, quick on 3rd down was pretty amazing. Kind of this patented concept that the Lions use on 3rd downs. You'll see Laporta work to the other side, kind of sit down here, usually an in-breaking route by the X-receiver, and in this case, blitz check for Montgomery, no one blitzes, he releases out into the flats. That's neither one of those options is the one that Goff takes, though. He hits St. Brown to the trips on this little delayed release in between the 2 second-level defenders, the corner and the inside linebacker. St. Brown 11 yards on a 3rd and 10. Big hit here. This is the 3rd and 15, so we're skipping forward some. Again, a sharp pass from Goff puts Laporta in danger. Takes a big hit from Greenlaw. I know there's people who think this should be, defenseless receiver, whatnot. This ball doesn't have to be thrown in the line such that it puts Laporta in danger. But look, Goff is throwing this football here. He has no knowledge that this guy is closing on this at all. So you can't blame him for leading Goff into trouble. God just made a quick reaction and is willing to commit himself, even in the modern football day and age when most guys are not. Oftentimes, they will eschew hitting someone like that because they don't want to draw a penalty and or get fined. So that was a stop, first stop for the 49ers defense. Again, Lions' 3rd possession. They're forced to punt, but Malcolm Rodriguez gets an interception to get them the ball back with 9 minutes left in the 2nd quarter, up 14-7. Really poor decision by C.J. Gardner-Johnson on the interception to take what I guess is a cheap shot on Deebo Samuel, pick up a penalty, push the ball back to midfield. So we're now 4th possession. Is a 2nd and 15, somewhat similar dynamic to the previous play that I just showed you, the 3rd and 15. You got the same yard to gain 15 yards. Laporta for 16, except he sits it down this time, so he's not bringing it back into the middle of the field. They're letting Reynolds clear this area out. St. Brown has motioned across. He could run a wheel. He could sit, whatever. The point is it's clearing out, if you ask me, space for Laporta to catch it, sit down. And he ends up getting 16 yards with some run after the catch. Really cool play, if you ask me. 2nd and 7, so we move forward 2 plays. St. Brown, left side. This is a great throw by Goff. The safety's sitting on this. This is 2nd and 7, 6.5 minutes left, 2nd quarter. There are 11 personnel empty. down to the boundary, 2 vacates, so he goes to the flat to open up all this space, and St. Brown runs the exact route that I think this safety is waiting on. Goff just throws it early before St. Brown gets out of his break at all and throws it in a position on his back hip away from the safety to protect him in this case. Brilliant stuff, if you ask me. Not a third down, but a third down type throw on a 2nd and 7 for 17 yards. And then you end up with Jahmyr Gibbs on this pin pull pitch. I love that they waited to pull this concept out until 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Great job on the front side by St. Brown and Reynolds, to wide receivers blocking. Laporta goes to the outside, to the edge, for the perimeter, I should say, to go get the corner. And then Gibbs makes at least one, if not 2 guys miss. You can see Reynolds has pinned down on Bosa. St. Brown has pinned down on, I think, a strong safety, second-level defender, because it was 11 personnel. Give you the end zone angle so you can appreciate it a little more, the blocking scheme. I think Ragnow falls down on this one. He kind of collides with a teammate, I believe. Or maybe that's on the screen that I'll show you later. Forgive me for that. Yeah, it's this one. Kind of crosses feet with Sewell, who's going opposite to try to hold this linebacker. They're trying to hold him as best they can. And what he thinks he's seeing is, or what they're trying to show him, I should say, is Sewell pulling, Gibbs counterstepping, and then bringing this back. Remember the play that they used to great effect last week against the Bucs, especially early in the game? So you got this split nature of Laporta going this way, Sewell going that way. Unfortunately, Sewell and Ragnow's feet collide. 60 is still able to get out there. It held Warner long enough that 60 was able to get out there on him, stay on him. Ends up being a 15-yard touchdown, 21-7 Lions. Defense gets another stop, and you're now 5th possession. Go down, take a 24-7 lead in the final moments of the second quarter. At the half, I won't annotate these plays necessarily. I'm not a huge fan of the next play call after this one. This one is brilliant by Goff and the entire Detroit offense. I think this is Goff seeing man-to-man defense. It's like a formula. Man-to-man defense, and the 49ers, 4 offensive linemen being lined up in a 3 to 1 side, 1 over here. So he's going to confirm that he's got man. Check into the run play, move Laporta over. Why? Because he knows that pulls 54 with him. Look at the numbers that you've got down here. Because this is a counter concept, once they pull these 2 linemen, once they pull these 2 guys across the formation, you're adding 2 to the side and the ball carrier who's lined up to the boundary. In addition to that, Chase Young wrong arms this, tries to spill it to no one. There's no one there to spill it to. Poor job by the 49ers of adjusting here. It's a 3rd and 12. I'm not sure why there is reason to spill that, but nonetheless, the 49ers chose to. I think Jared Goff was uniquely prepared for that situation and made that check on his own. I don't think that's a play call that came from Ben Johnson. Gibbs ends up converting. Just brilliant stuff. Now, the play call that I do not like is the next one. It's 21-7. You are inside of 2 minutes left in the half. 1st and 10 on the 34, and you go jumbo 22. Play action. Goff is, I think, trying to get the ball downfield here. Yeah, Kabinda, maybe you could get the ball out to him, but Bosa's going to win up here against Skipper. Tactically, I feel like if you're going to go play action here, Montgomery's got to help out right now on Bosa, in my opinion. I don't know that Montgomery's going to be an actual receiver that Goff comes back to. Goes down as an 8-yard sack. Kind of didn't matter because the Lions actually converted a 3rd and 18. That's this play I'm going to show you right here. Talking about 1:45 left now. 2 plays after that sack by Bosa. Cool concept. St. Brown running across the inside linebacker's face and the safety to the boundary. Going with the vertical by Jamison Williams. I'm talking about this safety here is going to go with a vertical by Jamison Williams, and then St. Brown's going to cross this linebacker's face underneath and basically go into the vacated space by that safety. You can see where his feet are right now between the top of the numbers and the hash, about the 28-yard line. And lo and behold, that's almost exactly where St. Brown catches the football. 23-yard gain. I thought they were going to score here, and I really thought they were going to put this away. Nonetheless, settled for a field goal. Look, at the half, the Lions had 18 first downs on 43 offensive plays. Pretty insane. 280 total yards, of which was 148 rushing yards. That includes the 42-yard touchdown run on the reverse by Jamison Williams. They were 5 of 7 on third downs, including converting the third down with the run concept you saw. The defense additionally had held McCaffrey to 29 yards on 10 carries, and Purdy was only 7 of 15 for 93 yards. So the flow of the game was all in the Lions' favor. Credit to their players and coaches for going on the road and outplaying the 49ers for 30 minutes. Pure brilliance offensively. And Aaron Glenn did a great job getting those guys prepared. They played their butts off in the first half. The second half was, clearly a different situation. Forgive me, I've been really sick for about a week and a half. However, in the second half, the dynamic changed. And I do have a problem with one of the decisions that Dan Campbell made. And so I'll describe that here in a moment. The 49ers went down with their opening possession of the third quarter, got a field goal. And I think that impacts Campbell's decision here. But it's still only 24-10, and this is why it's tough for me to justify. We're now at the opening possession of the third quarter for the Lions. And look, it's the Lions' MO at this point to go for it on fourth downs. They've been extremely successful. I'm aware of the numbers. You don't need to quote them to me. You may do so because the comments help any videos. This is third quarter opening possession for the Lions after the 49ers have gone down and got a field goal, 24-10. We're about 8:45 left in the third quarter. You've got a short pass to Laporta into the boundary against Greenlaw, who came back in the game after that huge hit, gave himself a stinger, basically. I really do like this play call by the Lions. Putting St. Brown in the backfield is something they've done in the last couple of years. They've run some trap stuff with him. They'll run him on routes out of the backfield against linebackers. This is a third and 4. So in this case, the 49ers appear to be playing man. Well, how do we know that? Because they've got an inside linebacker, Greenlaw, up here on Gibbs. So because St. Brown and Gibbs have basically switched positions, a linebacker's gone out there on Gibbs. I think this is there, potentially. It's a great job by Kinlaw, 99, who I think has taken a lot of criticism in his 49ers career. If I remember correct, he's the guy that one of their reporters acted extremely immature towards last year. So I'm glad to see him playing well. And this is, if I'm remembering the correct guy, this is a great play by him and also a great read and fit by Warner. The offensive linemen for the Lions just are not able to get out to Warner quick enough. I believe it's supposed to be the right guard. I'll give you the end zone angle of the play so you can see it. Again, St. Brown in the backfield. It does gain 2 yards. I think it's there from an alignment standpoint. I will say this. If you think that it's man, I wonder about just bringing Laporta out of the situation entirely and see what 54 does. Now, there's multiple checks going on. I don't know where the play clock is, but that would give you a very favorable situation inside with what looks like man to me. You've still got to block people, but numbers-wise, if you were to remove Laporta from here and Warner vacates, I think you've got a much more favorable situation. But they're trying to combo this D tackle to get him out of there, so they need Laporta to deal with the D end. When I say combo, now 60's going to try to work up to Warner. That combo is just a little too late in happening. Warner's able to cross his face. Big hit collision between St. Brown, Warner, and Kinlaw, all involved there and holding them to the 2-yard gain. For me, this is where you kick the field goal. You can also say, hey, Coach, I don't know that he's going to make it because hasn't attempted an outside kick in, I guess, 2 years or so. I got no problem with that. And I'm aware of the numbers as well. I mean, he gives Reynolds an opportunity to make the play. I'm aware of the numbers, like I said, the percent success on fourth downs. It's been great for Dan Campbell. And the field goal percentage of the kicker, the outside environment, cool. All of that is a factor. To me, those numbers are not the ones that matter here. I don't think it's that simple, basically. With 7 minutes left in the third quarter, a field goal gives you a 27-10 lead. Those are the numbers that matter, meaning match the 49ers' points scored from here on out. I don't think you need a touchdown here to win. in our Discord, our Lions Discord that's a part of my Patreon, I think I even typed, you need 9 or 10 points to win this game at halftime. And 3 stops. Now, they didn't get those 3 stops, obviously. And 9 points wouldn't have worked out. From 24 plus 9 would only give you 33. But with time left here, whether you score a touchdown or a field goal, to me, does not matter. If the percentage is virtually the same, then it's up to Dan Campbell. And he made his choice. Unfortunately, it didn't work. I think 3 points still helps you win the game. Precisely because you are moving the football. That's why I think you take the points. Because you expect to score again. If you do not expect to score again, then perhaps you say, well, we're going to go for it. We're going to try to get 7 because we don't know how many more times we're going to be down here. I don't know how you think of it. Whenever the situation at halftime is such that you're winning, I often think, okay, how many stops do we need? How much time's left? How many stops do we need? How many more points do we need? I thought 9 or 10 more points would have gotten the job done. As it stands, from a concrete thinking perspective, it would not have. But based on the way the flow was going here, I thought that a field goal was appropriate. Of course, San Francisco gets the 34 points. In my opinion, moving it to 27-10 with 7 minutes left. The way the defense was playing up to that point, up to that moment, I think the field goal is the right play. But look, Campbell went for it. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. And the 49ers go touchdown and then the fumble by Gibbs. And then they go touchdown, field goal to go up 27-24. With just 5 minutes into the fourth quarter. So the situation changed quickly. Got to address the kicker situation. If you have a more reliable guy like a Justin Tucker, then maybe Campbell is more willing to kick the field goal there. But in any case, the lost initiative to me there was more important than getting the touchdown. You needed to match points. We'll move forward here to the fourth quarter, now down 27-24. And I understand that people have different opinions in the number. People will quote numbers. I think it's more than just math happening there. I think you've got to match points psychologically. Here we go. It's 27-24 and Goff responds. 10 minutes left on the road. The lead has disappeared. You're now -3 on the scoreboard. And he hits Jameson Williams against man on a deep cross, 22 yards. I guess Jameson Williams maybe bobbled the ball a little bit, but ended up catching it a second time. Montgomery on that same pinpull pitch with the same setup, meaning Reynolds and St. Brown are involved with the blocking, but a little bit of a different variation here that I think is really cool to talk about. It's 11 personnel. So remember on that other pinpull, the touchdown to Gibbs, Laporta was to the play side, the tight end. Now the tight end is away. Additionally, Jameson Williams is gone. He's motioning out of there. Watch the scheme. Watch how they block this. Reynolds, who pinned down on Bosa last time, is now pinning down on Chase Young. And St. Brown is one of the pullers. I mean, this is how versatile this dude is. Like I've said many times, he's one of the best football players in the NFL, and I don't care what people's response to that is. If I'm picking 10 players in the NFL that I think are the best, St. Brown's one of them for me. So you got the pin-pull nature of it. You got 2 lead blockers out there. Montgomery is able to get in between the guard and the tackle, Decker, who pulled as well, and bang this thing along the left side for 16 yards. Beautiful stuff. Third down and fourth down here is is obviously something that other people will criticize from the standpoint of the decision. Credit to the 49ers, man. Credit to the 49ers for not giving the look that Goff thought he was going to get on the fourth down. There is something I want to cover here for a moment. It's 3rd and 10. One of the favorite concepts for the Lions I talked about is like an in route from the one receiver side and someone sitting between the hash and the top of the numbers from the opposite side. So the one receiver side is Laporta. He's going to run a route a little more shallow than I would have expected, and then Reynolds is going to sit this down here. Goff usually looks for this. Warner sits down right in that area on the hash. Goff's got to move on from it, which he does quickly because he's a very quick-minded player in terms of processing things. So he's moving now to the far side of the field where he's got Jameson Williams and St. Brown. Corner has carried Jameson Williams just enough that Goff gets rid of it quickly. Really great throw, if you ask me. I thought that St. Brown was going to be able to escape. Got to give 7 credit. Fantastic job. Should you kick a field goal here? Should you go for it? I don't know. This one is the one that doesn't bother me as much, which might sound hypocritical. Goff ends up trying to make something of it. I thought Greg Olsen covered it well. The 49ers showed man and then switched to zone. Overall, a beautiful coaching performance in terms of what they came in with. Okay, the ending was not well, and I disagree with the field goal with the going for the touchdown. Excuse me, on fourth down and not kicking the field goal. I should say. In the third quarter, this one doesn't give me as much of a problem because you've already lost the initiative. I'm comfortable at this point just analyzing the game of football and not getting so hyperbolic about the decisions because I believe in what Campbell's doing there with the staff, players, and everyone on board. Whether it's the Ravens or the Lions, I can be kind of disconnected to it, but this weekend situation, these losses were tough to watch and understand. I will probably be doing film study videos on these games for the next couple of weeks to try to comprehend as much as I can. I don't think the initial fourth down attempt in the third quarter is the right play, but I'm fine with it because that's what Dan Campbell's explanation was perfect. He said, I was trying to regain momentum because they had gained some. The 49ers had taken some. I'm fine with those decisions, but for me personally, if I was involved, once you're up 17 at 24-7, presumably if you make the field goal, then 27-10, excuse me, I think you just try to match points. And without turnovers, you guys probably get this done. It's really been a joy for me to try to do breakdowns on both of the teams I cover, the Ravens and the Lions, and I'm going to do that for as long as this channel is a focus for me. So that includes the offseason in 2024. That's my plan. I did this to try to learn and hopefully analyze the game at a higher level than I did before and appreciate a wider range of play styles and players than just one team. I did intentionally choose the Lions because of my interest in fandom in James Houston IV. I make no bones about that. And then over the course of the season, there just became so many last season, 2022, there became so many things that I appreciated about specifically the offense with Detroit that I decided last year, before the regular season even ended, to do Lions videos as well in 2023. And you guys, Lions fans, have just treated the channel and me like gold. So I am very thankful and grateful for that. And I just wanted to confirm for anyone who listened at the end of a long and possibly tough video to watch, I just wanted to confirm for you that is my plan, to do the exact same thing next year that I did in 2023. Hopefully this time, though, we all get the intended matchup for the Super Bowl, the final game of 2024 that we really wanted. Man, I appreciate you guys' time. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comment section. And if you think other Lions fans would enjoy this commentary/film study of what the Lions offensively were able to walk in there in San Francisco and get accomplished, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.